Hey you guys, so this video is actually an older video that we recorded a while ago. It really touched on a rough time that we were going through and that other people were going through. And honestly, I regret not releasing it a few months ago when I filmed it. This video goes into a few sensitive subjects, and it touches on depression, and it touches on my history with depression. We got a question from someone who's just having a really rough time, and yeah, so it's not, as you'll be able to tell in the video, like I try to start the video from a happy-go-lucky place, and it went into full, like, serious mode and stuff. And I just want to make it clear that I am no expert in this field. This is just the way that we dealt with some of the more difficult feelings that we had. And so I just want to make that very clear to everyone. Take what we say with a grain of salt. But most importantly, at the end of this, I just want you guys to know you're awesome and beautiful, and we all have difficulty with some emotions and stuff. So, yeah, just enjoy the vid. And what are we talking about?
We're talking about when you be like, what is this all for, man?
Okay.
Yeah.
Rafi's Rambles, Rafi's Rambles, Rafi's Rambles.
Hola, you amazing artist, and welcome to the studio. Today we are going to talk about feelings. Whoa, 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 feelings.
I feel like you just combined two different songs into one hybrid song.
I did.
Our question comes from Andy. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Andy listens to our podcast and watches our YouTube vids and is Andy Farlow Hume on Facebook.
Awesome.
I think this question is really great to talk about right now.
Okay.
And it goes like this. I wonder if you have, or anyone that you know, dealt with depression affecting your creativity. For the last few months of the craziness of the world, my creativity has gone down the tubes. I have so many supplies at my disposal, but I just feel sad all the time, and I wonder why I should bother creating. Any insight you can give would be so appreciated. Andy.
I am very, very familiar with the whole concept of depression. I was diagnosed with chronic depression back when I was younger. Chronic depression, suicidal tendencies. With everything that's been going on lately and just looking at the world, I did have a couple weeks there where I was having a really, really, really difficult time processing everything that was going on. And I think early on, especially, some of the main question was like, what is this all even about? Why even do this? What difference am I making in the world?
Yeah, it's really easy when you're feeling down and the world is crazy to feel like, what's the point?
Problem is that when you're feeling down, usually no matter what's going on out there, the world is going to feel crazy.
Yeah.
Like things are just, it's going to feel like there is a dark gray cloud just following everyone around, and especially following you around. It's very easy to downward spiral if you're not paying attention to that. Because I've had that history of that going on, I know for a fact that when I get into that place, what ends up happening is that I go into a place of despair. I go into a place of hopelessness, and I go into a place of isolation. Basically, even if I have people around me, what ends up happening is that I isolate myself. And you end up feeling like you're alone in it, like everything is dark, and it kind of stacks onto itself and feels worse and worse and worse. And being creative in that place, I know people that are able to create in that place, and usually what ends up happening is that they're creating in order to get out of that place. But the stuff that they're creating is, that's where a lot of my sad poetry and really, really twisted paintings came from back in the day, because I was trying to process all these dark emotions that I had. It's still very, very difficult to get into a place where you're willing to create other than trying to release a lot of that darkness. And then when you're feeling better, you look at a lot of those pieces and they're just a reminder of being in that place. I'm not saying that there isn't a place for art like that, but me personally, it's one of the reasons that I won't take on a commission that is going to make me feel dark.
Yeah.
You know, like any kind of dark subjects. I don't mind doing dark subjects, and anybody that looks at my art knows that I do touch on a lot of dark concepts, but the dark concept is usually somebody who is just breaking free of that darkness that could easily overwhelm them.
There's the empowerment factor there. It's not catering to the despair end of the spectrum.
Yeah. And I think with recent times and just the fact that, like, you know, with social distancing and feeling isolated and feeling all that stuff and being inundated because you're trying to keep track of what's going on in the world and let's say you're in quarantine or whatever. And unfortunately, a lot of the media and stuff, they cater to that darkness. And so, like, the more you follow that stuff in the world, the more dismal the world seems. It just gets really, really dark.
It can kind of happen without you realizing it, like the boiling frog principle, like you're just inundated, and you don't even kind of realize that you're dipping until you've really dipped.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a few of the things, because Rafi and I, during this time, we have experienced feeling down, feeling like it's pointless. What is it for? Feeling isolated, even though we're here together and we're here for each other. It's easy to feel isolated. Some of the things that we've needed to do is tune out a little bit from the media aspect of it. We know what's going on in the world. It wasn't healthy for us to be completely inundated with it every day, so we've had to reel back from that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting up in the morning and the first thing I was doing was grabbing my phone just to see what the updates were. For me, I didn't even reel back a little bit. I reeled back completely.
Entirely.
Like, I don't look at anything.
I've reeled back a little bit. Another thing that we've done is really stayed connected, reached out, and even at times leaned on our rogue artist family and our artist community here to help one another and support one another, because I think we're all going through some level of emotional stuff.
Yeah, it is really, really easy when you get into that dark place to isolate yourself and to feel like no one else understands what you're going through. Mm-hmm. And that's just a weapon that we use against ourselves to isolate us even more. You know, I get it. You're going through this, but let me explain to you how bad it is for me. It becomes this comparison game where you're basically listing out how horrible your life is compared to just about everybody else out there, which really doesn't help you because it just dips you even more into that isolation. Personally, what I did because I dipped pretty bad towards the beginning there. Like I had 2 weeks where I was completely useless as far as creating or anything else like that. And the first thing I did was disconnect. The second thing I did was really, really start to focus on appreciation. Just everything that I could possibly appreciate about my life, everything I could appreciate about Klee, everything I could appreciate about the day, and then slowly worked my way up to anything I could appreciate about the world and different people out in the world. And I started to really focus on gratitude and appreciation. And the other thing I did was I started to look up funny things like comedians and inspiring quotes and just anything that was out in the world that was going to inspire me versus put me down. Because what I had done was I had inundated myself with the media, which is all just hopelessness and dismal bullcrap. And so I wanted to reverse that by consuming some stuff that was going to lift me up and not cause me to dip.
Deliberate, joyful content, even cute things on Board Panda.
Yeah.
And there's one other thing I wanted to talk about as far as the question of what's the point. Because I've had several periods of time. In fact, I'm kind of coming out of one right now where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the point is. And even early on, I was feeling guilty and ashamed that I wanted to keep creating and sharing art
while the
pandemic was going on and everything that's going on, not just the pandemic. And I realized, and actually one of our Rogue Artist family members had said, and I thought this was awesome, with so much pain and so much anger and so much suffering going on in the world, I just want to create joy and try to share that. Yeah. I just want to create silly, stupid, happy fun. That's what I want right now. And I realized that's what I want to. I want to create what I create because I know it's good for me and because maybe sharing it might be good for other people too.
Exactly. It's the reason that we kept putting videos out once we had come out of that funk and kept doing the artwork and kept just doing things out there to motivate other people, to empower them to find their joy and to share that joy, because that is so powerful. Imagine a world where there wasn't art and beauty and inspiring people and great poetry and things like that inspired you into a beautiful place, versus like just living in a world that was just dark and dismal and everybody was just focused on all the negativity all the time.
Yeah, that's the question and the subject we had to look at when considering, we had to consider whether or not to keep putting artist content out there during this time. Like the question of does anyone want us to talk about art and art-related things right now?
Does anybody care about what these two artists have to say about anything in the world right now? There are so many people out there that are way more important than I am. And realizing that at that point, what I was doing was I was putting people on tiers and levels of importance, which is not my MO. That's not how I see the world. I see us all as human beings, and everything and anything that we do is meaningful. Whether or not you're sketching something funny or you're creating a deep documentary about something or you're doing anything that you do is meaningful, and it has meaning in the world. And I think that it's reminding you that you are worth it and that you matter and that the way that you feel matters. And, at this point, all I want to say is and we love you. Just keep being you and disconnect from the bullshit, because the bullshit is going to bring you down.
Create for yourself, because it might be a feel-good place for you. And create because sharing your unique gifts with the world is a service. Yeah. You do a service by sharing your unique, beautiful creations.
Yeah, because if it is doing something for you, it will definitely do something for someone else. Maybe not everyone, but for someone else. Andy, you're awesome. Just keep being awesome. Focus on your awesomeness. Focus on the fact that you are amazing and awesome and that you matter. You are worth it. Just focus on that.
And you're not alone. Yeah. We all go through this, and it's especially easy to be going through this right now.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear your guys' story. I know that a lot of you have contacted us because it has been a rough time, but this is there always is rough times. There's always stuff going on in the world or in our lives that are going to cause us to dip. And what kind of tips and tricks do you have to lift you out of that downward spiral that sometimes is very easy to get into? Go ahead and list that in the comment section below. And thank you for watching, you guys. You guys are absolutely freaking amazing. I totally adore you. And if you like this and you want to watch more like this, just click right over here to subscribe. And that's it. Say goodbye, Klee.
Good day.
Adios.